How many fingers I got up right now?
Come on with it. Come
Come
on.
on then.
Fingers. 4 fingers, baby. Come on.
The last victory Monday of the season, and it's the best to celebrate it because it happened after the last game of the season. The Kansas City Chiefs are your Super Bowl 58 champions this season, back to back, like I'm on the cover of Lethal Weapon.
Ooh.
Back to back.
Man, what a
96,
feeling.
97. Come on. We did it again, baby. The
Man, what a
Chiefs.
feeling. What a feeling. That was incredible to watch. That was freaking electric. And even if you're a football fan, what a great game. What a great game that was.
It was incredible. Overtime, just the second time in NFL history we've seen a Super Bowl go to OT. Man, just electric atmosphere out there in Vegas. All the celebrities were out and about, wandering around, doing their thing. They got a lot of screen time, not just Taylor Swift, but man, what a great time. What'd you do, man? Tell us about your night watching the Super Bowl. Who were you with? What'd you eat? Give us the rundown.
So I kicked it at the house. I had Katie and the boys, and we were just watching until the boys went down. As soon as halftime hit, I was prepping Tate, like the second quarter, I was prepping Tate, like, hey, you got 6 minutes of game time, buddy. As soon as halftime hits, like we're going to go upstairs,
Yeah.
start reading some books, and get that milk going, and head to bed, buddy. And so I went and knocked him out at halftime, and Strato actually made some ribs, and he brought a slab over, gave us a slab of ribs. So he was feeling a little under the weather. We were going to go over
Oh,
there, but ended up in his shop at like 2 minutes left in the third quarter, and watched the rest of the game over there. As the game gets intense, you gotta talk to somebody through. You gotta talk through the
yeah. You
plays
need
and
an
everything. You
outlet.
know what I
You need
mean?
an outlet.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So we finished the game over there. Katie ended up getting tripped down, and she came over to Strato's shop and finished the game over there with us. And then Strato and I went down to the Atlas and celebrated last night after the game.
I love
So,
it.
yeah. Second year in a row for that. So, yeah, that's how we spend it. I was drinking. Obviously, started off with my Busch Light Tall Boy. Every game, I drink a Busch Light Tall Boy. Strato and I do, and then I was drinking Coors for Pat. So, I was hitting I was checking all the boxes, bro.
Man, them
Yeah.
mountains were blue, baby.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you go out to Chris's house?
Yep, went out to Chris' house out there in Lee Summit. Had a little house party with a bunch of the tailgate group. A lot of good food actually at the party. Chris grilled up some wings. I brought some Zarda beans, but man, I feel like the spread was just killer this year. We had all these different like pretzel. Someone made some pretzel pig in a blankets, like pretzel bun thing. Oh my god, it was all good. Some homemade beer cheese. It was crazy.
Very nice. Very
But
nice.
all of us packed into his living room, two TVs running. I was drinking. I go Kansas City beer when I watch playoff games. So I was drinking my Boulevards. I had my Space Campers going. Earlier that day, we actually went to brunch downtown at Kona Grill. Got in the bus, rode around from the plaza on up to Union Station, posted up there for a little bit, and then made our way to Chris's. But yeah, after the game, we tried to go out to Power and Light, and they actually were closing it.
Really?
So
Huh.
right when we show up, they were like escorting people out, shutting it down for the night. So we ended up getting a beer at, you know, International Tap House, or posting up there for a little bit, and then we went to Up Down and just played video games all night. Played throwback NFL Blitz on the arcade. Played
Yeah.
some NBA hoops. Played some Pop Shot. It was actually a lot of fun. Me, Phil, Evan, and Chris were the final four
Yeah.
standing from the group. So it was a
Right
lot of
on.
fun. Work was a little tough today, getting through
Yeah,
it,
no,
but
yeah. Yeah, I took the day off today for sure.
you're
I
a
knew
trooper,
I knew after the AFC Championship, the Monday after the Super Bowl should be a holiday anyways. We should get that day off. But
especially if your team wins the damn thing.
Yeah, man. And then you should get the Wednesday off too, for the parade. It sounds like most of Kansas City's going to shut down. I mean, I've even heard things of Thursday being shut down for businesses too, just anticipating
Whoa.
the long drawn out roads being shut down and shit like that. So, I mean, it's getting out of hand here in Kansas City. Eventually, we're gonna have a whole week off after the Super Bowl. So, um, could be nice. But yes, yesterday, Katie and I were kind of sitting around after we got some things done around the house that morning, and she's like, "Is there even a Super Bowl on today? Like, what the hell are we doing? Like, this does not feel like Super Bowl Sunday." And I was like, "Everybody load up in the car." And so we
We're
went to
doing
the
something.
store. We went. She's like, "We need some food or something like to make this thing real." And so everybody picked out one thing from the store. Of course, Tate, every time he passes, Reese's, he picks up a Reese's, and he changes mine at Snickers, and then Oreos, and then cookies, and whatever it is. He just keeps changing his mind. So yeah, that's kind of how we kicked off the day. But man, yeah, I mean, it's hard. Throughout the playoffs, we've been talking about being, trying to soak up the moment because, we are lucky to see, the success we've seen with the Chiefs. But I think yesterday, and rightfully so, everything just came to, it just came to an end there, and it felt right. It felt like,
Hell yeah,
after we won
dude.
that game, I was high fiving Katie and Strato, and like it just felt like we were supposed to be there, we were supposed to do it, and it felt good, man. And at that moment, I really, really appreciated what we have in the Chiefs because you can say it 1,000 times, but we struggled a lot this season, and
Yeah.
to see them come through and make that happen was absolutely incredible. And these are things that I will talk about for the next 50 to 60 years, bro.
As long as we got
Yeah,
been
all
here on
right.
Earth, I know I'll be talking about it, man.
Yeah,
It's incredible, man. It's definitely something where we're one of a few dynasties that you could talk about. I know that's up until now, I think that word's been kind of a taboo sort of thing to say. You don't want to jinx it. You're not really like, obviously 2 Super Bowls is huge. Everything we'd done up to this point is incredible. But dynasty has a certain air about it where it's like these unwritten rules have been set as to what a dynasty actually is.
yeah,
And us capturing this third title, going back to back, doing it in such a short window of time, and understanding that the floor has always been us knocking on the doorstep of a Super Bowl appearance. I mean, there's no other word you can use besides dynasty at this point to sum up what we've done the last 6 years here in Kansas City. So pretty
yep,
fantastic. Pretty incredible, dude. Our fourth title as a franchise. That puts us up amongst the winningest of any other franchise in the NFL as it stands today. First team to go back to back since the 03-04 Pats. Patrick
yep,
Mahomes gets his third ring. I think what's been great about this run is the versatility of the team, right? We've won the last 2 Super Bowls as like the highest scoring offense in the league. Last year we led the league in points per game. This year, as you alluded to with some of the struggles that we've gone through, we've had a defense that's been phenomenal all time level defense. We were able to lean on. We did not
yep,
allow the team to score over 28 points once this entire season. I think the Green Bay Packers scored the highest on us, which was 27. That puts us in the ranks of teams like the 2000 Ravens, the 2010 Packers, who had Charles Woodson leading the way with Clay Matthews on that team.
yep.
Only 5 other teams have been able to accomplish that feat, and all went on to win the Super Bowl. And now Kansas City is a part of that, averaging just 15.75 points per game in this playoff run. I mean, it's incredible. The defense, obviously only one player gets to be the MVP. Patrick Mahomes happened to play that phenomenal game, but I think the defense is the MVP of the season as a whole. And Spagnuolo's the face of that. and it just needs more credit, I think, because everything, which is crazy to say. Oh, the Chiefs want more credit, right? But everything everything about what this Super Bowl has been, you can give it to 15 for sure, but the defense I think makes up maybe 51% of that.
Yeah, yeah, no, yeah, well said there. And on to the Spags comment, man. I think the coaching staff in a whole really has done a great job with taking the frustrations, the miscues, the inopportune, penalties and drops and whatever it may be, turnovers, and really taking guys, put them in the right spot, brought guys on. I mean, Mike Pennell's a good example of that to kind of fill gaps
Man,
where we needed to fill gaps where man, we just had the right things going at the right time and day and night. This team once 2024 hit, I mean, it was kind of a completely different football team we saw. Obviously the starters didn't play there against the Chargers, but
right.
this playoff team, man, was just it was the team you didn't want to see, and we made sure that that rang true for everybody that we saw. And to dive into some of those plays here, Dan. So I guess give the viewers a little bit of context here on how the show is going to roll. We're just going to run through the game a little bit and just kind of talk about key marks that we noticed, big plays and huge moments, maybe some stats thrown in here and there. But we're just going to talk the game, relive it, Dan and I, and enjoy this. But one of the
Yeah,
plays we
maybe.
saw early on, man, Leo Chenal, and we could talk about Leo Chenal for I feel like a half an hour to an hour just by himself, how he's progressed as a player this season. So,
He balled
but
out.
he was an absolute monster. For me, looking at the defense as a whole, if you got to pick somebody, I'm probably rolling with Leo for the MVP on the defense from yesterday's game in the Super Bowl. Just an absolute ball player, man. He's so smart. Like he knows how to play fundamental football. I mean, it's things like holding the edge on outside runs, and it's tackling technique, and it's the small things like that Leo does so freaking well, but makes him so successful as a football player. And
Yeah.
we saw that on the forced fumble on CMC. CMC lost 3 fumbles this whole season, and he added one in the Super Bowl from Leo. Leo knocked that ball out, and then obviously Karlaftis recovered. But a game-changing moment there, and we weren't able to take advantage of that. But those things add up, and those things build momentum, and Leo was a huge part of that. And I mean, blocked the extra point as well, which led to us being able to tie the game instead of having to go down to score a touchdown, which is, you know,
Incredible.
it's huge. It might not feel that big right there in the moment, but knowing that could trickle down to, the last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter, that one play there is monstrous, man. And he
Oh
was
yeah.
such a factor in yesterday's game that I'm juiced up for this linebacking core next year. I know we're likely going to lose at least one guy, maybe two, being Willie Gay and Tranquil, but I think we bring at least one of them back. And but I think the foundation is there with Nick Bolton and Leo Chenal, man.
No, I think everything we've seen from Leo in this game definitely gives you a little bit more confidence than maybe you had before. That
Oh yeah.
the moment isn't too big for him, and that he's going to be able to make a play. When he blocked that extra point, the first thing I said was that's going to matter later.
Yep.
That's going to matter, and it ended up being our saving grace because it allowed us that opportunity to kick a field goal, a little chip shot to get us into OT and ultimately seal the damn thing up. So
Yep.
yeah, 54 played out of his mind. I think defensively, you have to give credit to Snead and McDuffie. We've been giving them recognition all year long for what they've been doing, even when they haven't been getting that recognition from everyone else. They held the top 2 receiving threats, not named Christian McCaffrey, on that offense to less than 40 yards apiece. Right? I think Deebo Samuel ended up with 33 yards and Ayuk 38. Maybe you flip that, but
George Kittle
that
at
is
4.
that's incredible. George
Yeah.
Kittle 4 yards, yes. Now Christian McCaffrey, he put up 160 yards. He's going to do what he's going to do, right? That guy should have been
Yeah.
the
Yep.
MVP
Yep.
of the league this year.
Yep. Yep.
Scores a
Yep.
touchdown on that trick play. I'd say that's more of a fluke type of play, right?
Yeah.
And an illegal man downfield. We won't talk about all that. I think the refs did a great job just getting
Yeah.
that out there. I think the refs did a phenomenal job not intervening in the game's biggest moments unless there was something absolutely egregious, right? Snead smacking somebody in the face.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, call that flag. That's merited. But like let these guys play, and that's exactly what Bill Vinovich's crew did.
Yep.
So big shout out to that for sure. I loved the fact that that they were a non-factor, so no one can bitch about it later on or have some sort of an excuse
Yes.
as to why we did something in a certain moment. So I think that's fantastic. But Christian McCaffrey, man, he balled out. Brock Purdy played a hell of a game. You got to give credit to some of those guys on the 49er side of the ball too. I think Fred Warner had a phenomenal game. Nick Bosa, Chase Young, that defensive line, man, they were all over the place, and
Yeah.
they really
Yeah.
forced
They're good,
Mahomes
man.
to. They're damn good. They're damn good,
Yeah.
and they really forced Mahomes to pivot in a lot of situations, and they paid off most of the time. Sometimes they didn't, right? And
Yeah. Yep.
it put us in some tough spots early on in that game.
Yeah. Yeah. No. And to your point there about guys that are just freaking studs, um, on the San Fran team, I think Brock Purdy. I hadn't spent a lot of time looking at Brock Purdy this whole season, but there is so much conversation going on about, he's just got the weapons. He's not the guy. But man, he looked freaking good yesterday. I mean, he sits in the pocket well. He's got a
Yeah.
great awareness in the pocket of where the pressure's coming from. He's freaking accurate. A dude can lay one on a laser, and obviously the guys in San Fran, the team, they trust him. I mean, they rally behind Brock
Yeah.
Purdy, and I'm definitely on the side of Brock Purdy's the guy. He's not tier 1, tier 2, or maybe he's tier 2, you could say, but
Yeah.
he's not Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, but and he's definitely tier 2 guy. I think the only thing you might be missing is that like it factor that like Patrick has last drive,
Yeah.
OT. Are you going to go down at 100% completions and then do it all by yourself? He doesn't have that, but he's a stud, man. And kind of goes in, to another guy on defense is Greenlaw. Running out to start another series there.
That was tough.
Dude, popping the Achilles right there. As soon as he dropped like that, nobody drops like that for any other injury, man. It looks like they
No.
get hit by a freaking sniper, dude.
Oh
And I mean, as soon as he dropped, I looked at Katie. I was like, "That's Achilles. He's
Yep.
toast. He's done." And then the cart came in, and then it was announced as Achilles injury. They didn't say it was torn or anything, but I was like, "He's toast, bro. We won't see him."
The writing was on the wall for that.
Yep, those are lethal, dude. Those are lethal. And the shit part for that for Greenlaw is it's so late in the year and the season. It's February, so he's gonna miss time next year too. So, tough deal, man. Tough deal.
No, absolutely tough deal. I mean, you never want to see any players go down. Kittle had himself a tough injury. He ended up going to the locker room for a short stint as well.
I
It
never
seemed
heard
like
what
the
that
Niners
was.
were getting
What was
kind of
that?
banged up.
What was that George Kittle injury? I never heard what that was.
I think it was his shoulder, if I'm not mistaken. He had a shoulder injury where he had to go get that checked out in the locker room. They had an offensive lineman go down, John Feliciano.
Yeah.
He had himself an injury, exited the game. I don't know that. I honestly don't recall if he returned to play in that, but you have to wonder, if he did go down and wasn't on the field for that. Our defense was starting to get some pressure late in that game to make some really truly game-changing moments, right? Karlaftis was in on a sack at one point. We saw some pressure on
Justin
those
Reed.
final possessions. Yep, Justin Reed. Trent McDuffie comes rushing in.
Man, Nick
completion.
Bolton. Nick Bolton absolutely crushed Brock
leveled him,
Purdy, dude.
dude. Oh,
Holy shit.
that
That
hit
was
was
incredible.
vicious. That was a
Yeah,
vicious hit.
man. He is a freaking train, dude. I would
Oh
not
yeah,
want to get hit by Nick Bolton.
not a
Oh,
chance. He read that perfectly, and what a great
yeah.
timed hit. I mean, for Brock Purdy to be poised in that situation, get up, dust himself off. I mean, that speaks to the pro that he is. But golly, Nick Bolton coming around the edge and just smoking him like that, like that's
Yeah, man.
physicality that I feel like our defense has been missing up until this year. You know what I
Yes,
mean? And that's
agreed.
been kind of like the epitome for how we played, right? We've been that bully where we're out muscling
Yeah,
guys a little bit, and typically our defense has gotten pushed around,
yep,
quite frankly.
yep.
We get out physical quite a bit, but man, they stood their ground. They held Christian McCaffrey to one of his, although he had a great game, it was one of his most inefficient games on the ground as a runner, right? He averaged less than 4 yards per carry. I think that's pretty
Yep.
impressive. And, as much as we're giving Snead and McDuffie and Chenal and all these other guys credit that deserve it, I think Mike Pennell is a huge piece as to why that running game suffered the way that it did against our defense. 69
Yeah, he
looked like a
was.
freaking freight train out there, by the way. Anytime he would get up and flex his muscle and puff his chest out, I was like, God, man, he's
Yeah,
putting Chris Jones to the test for biggest defensive
yeah,
lineman.
yeah. He moves so well east and west. If he's
Yeah,
trying to move on a
great
zone or whatever it
laterally.
may be. Yeah, he moves great east and west. And I mean, he is a monster of a human, dude. He is so big and so yeah, like you said, he's fast, man. But yeah, he was a big deal, with Derek Nottie going down on the IR and needing somebody to
Needed
step up
him.
and be that guy. God, that was huge, man. And to the Christian McCaffrey comment there, those first 2 or 3 drives, we were getting just freaking gashed, man. And it's typical bend don't break, or get the turnover there, but just
Hmm.
getting gashed across the board. And once again, you see that coaching and that mindset shift on the field and on the sideline to, hey, this is what we saw, this is the correction, this is how we face it, this is what we're gonna do next. And man, back to Spags, dude. Just an incredible job of putting people in the right spot at the right time and giving them the tools to be successful. And everybody on the field executed that and really figured out where they were going to improve and how they were going to figure out a way to stop Christian McCaffrey or slow it down, man. Because you can't stop a guy like that. You just got to slow him
Yeah.
down.
No,
And,
actually, absolutely. You just got to do everything you
he's,
can to slow that guy down. And
yeah,
and
yeah,
for us offensively, I think Travis Kelce, he was kind of revived a little bit in this game. We've seen him ball out in the playoffs up to this point, but
oh yeah,
did you realize on his longest catch of the day, where he runs it down the sideline, goes out about the 12 or something along those lines later in the game, he got clocked at the fastest speed he's been clocked at since 2017. The man ran 19 miles an hour on
yeah,
that catch. That dude
yeah.
was zooming for that third ring.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, he was fired up, and you can see the emotion the whole game. We can talk about the Andy bump here in a bit,
Yeah.
and something with Travis Kelce, and I've been thinking about since the game yesterday is that he has been so successful when he's got a week off. We saw that where he took the week off before the wild card. He came out in the playoffs really and balled out. He had the week off in between the AFC Championship, came in the game, had 90 yards receiving for the Super Bowl.
Hmm.
And I think this is going to be the recipe that we see for Travis Kelce going into the next couple seasons, right? So earlier in the season, I call for Travis Kelce probably retiring after this year. I don't think there's any way he retires at this point. I think he's coming back. This dude is freaking hungry to win some more. I love it. I love to see it.
It's
But I
incredible.
think we're going to kind of see where we see a limit on minutes for him next season. Kind of, he's going to be the red zone guy, the third down guy, likely the first down guy. But I think Noah Gray is going to get more involved where Travis Kelce can kind of take a break and not play 40, 45, 50 snaps, right? So I
Mm.
think outside of the bye week that we get and potential bye week going into the playoffs and things like that, I think we're going to see him limit to where we get the 100% Travis Kelce going into every play instead of that dude that we saw this season in the regular season who was just beat down to nothing, man.
Oh yeah, he was grinded down. He's grinded
Yeah.
down. Think it comes, it's that time in his career where you gotta start considering those things. And I just love that all this retirement talk is getting tossed around for Kelce, for Andy Reid, and I think people are kind of doing a little bit of wishful thinking when they throw that out in the air,
Yeah,
right? We
yeah,
saw the whole
yeah.
country was kind of against us. We turned into this villain type of team, and I don't know how you could look at these guys as villains, right? It's not
Yeah.
like they, you know, recorded. It's not like they cheated, you know.
Yeah.
They
Right.
they didn't
Right.
deflate footballs, okay?
Right.
They're out there
Yeah.
doing things the right way, and we're painted as this villain. So, with Travis Kelce coming in and kind of putting that to rest a little bit too, I loved that at the end of the game, both him and Andy Reid were able to say, "Nah, we're coming back. This shit
Yeah.
ain't over.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
coming
3P,
back and
baby.
we're going for three."
Yeah, we're
Something that has
3P,
not been
baby.
done in the NFL yet.
Yeah, yep. So back to the bump there with Travis Kelce. Obviously he comes out of the game for the play that Pacheco fumbles the ball in the red zone. Um, Incredibly fired up, bumps Andy
Yep.
Reid. Almost knocks Andy Reid over. Initial thoughts on. I know we talked yesterday during the game with Strato and Luke, but you guys were all kind of one sided on that, where I was on the other side. But uh, as you've processed that over the last 24 hours, what are your thoughts now?
Were Trey, were you on the side of, was it because I had a few group chats going off and then conversations happening during that. Were you on the side of he should be benched?
No, 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 no.
Okay.
I think there's an understanding between Andy Reid and Travis Kelce, and
Right.
I think Andy understands the level of enthusiasm and passion that Travis has for the game, and the want and need that he has to be on the football field in crucial moments. Which I agree. Why is Travis Kelce on the sideline in the red zone, right? And like I said, I doubt he misses a red zone play for the rest of the game. Whether that was true or not, I don't know, but. Was a little overboard. Yeah, he probably hit him a little harder than what he thought, but I don't think that was out of line. I think there's maybe 3 to 5 players on the Chiefs team who have that level of respect and understanding with Andy Reid,
Yeah.
and Travis is one of those guys.
No, and Andy Reid comes out and spoke on that fact after the game as well. Right? He was he even kind of made a joke about it. He said, Travis cheap shotted me. So, I think both these guys, it just kind of caught him off guard a little bit. Both these guys are fierce competitors. They want to win. All those things you hear, right, when somebody shows extreme emotion in a football game, that's so true about Andy Reid and about Travis Kelce. And, you know, there was talks about him being Andy Reid's favorite kind of going into the game, that maybe he gets some like special treatment, but they've been together for 11 years at this
Yeah,
point.
long time, man.
They've worked together for 11 years, collaborated on these things for 11 years. That's a long time to know somebody, let alone work
Yeah,
with somebody.
yeah,
And they've
yep.
done that. They've done that together. So, I mean, these guys just want to win. And, I think the physical contact at first glance looks egregious. You know,
Yep,
think,
yep.
once Andy Reid comes out and kind of clears the air on it, then it's like, oh, okay. Or you look at it a couple more times and it's like, okay, I can see how that would be the case based on that
Yeah.
explanation. But, you know, yelling at the coach like that is never a good look. And I think Kelce will probably agree with that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But, these guys are just hungry to win. And,
Yeah.
whatever ended up happening likely played out for the better.
Well, yeah, I think it
I mean,
did.
I don't know what the alternative would look like if he doesn't yell at him. I don't have that kind of power, right? I don't have that
Yeah.
sense, but I mean, they're pretty happy now. I'm sure they're not doing that to each other right this second. They're probably still hugging it out and crying tears of joy, you know. So
Yeah, yeah, as am I.
I think it's going to be water under the bridge for these guys.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, it'll be
I don't think it's
I'm
anything to worry about.
yeah, I'm sure it gets brought up a couple more times in the off season just for, something for people to talk about, but,
Oh yeah,
let's talk about an old ex-Chief that we saw out there, dude, Chris Conley, the special teams player of the freaking game. When I
he was
saw
balling.
Conley when I saw Conley on the back of that jersey, I was like, "No freaking way." And then as soon as I, like, had that thought, Tony or Jim, one of the two, were like, Chris Conley, an ex-Chief out there making plays. And I was like, no freaking way. Good for him, man. I was a big Chris Conley fan
Yeah.
for his 4 years in Kansas City. He was a hell of a player, man. It still is. Obviously, man. He pulled out special teams player of the game, dude. He was making plays, dude. North, south, east, west, man. Richie James didn't have shit on Chris Conley yesterday.
Chris Conley lit him up too. I'm pretty sure he got
Yeah,
a tackle
yeah,
on one of those punts. He was all over the
yeah.
place. He did some things offensively. Caught, I think it was a key third down pass from Brock Purdy. He was playing really well, and you know it sets up for an easy joke, some low hanging fruit, where it's like, why don't we still have Chris Conley? We got all these other guys can't catch the ball, and Chris Conley's
Yeah,
over here for the Niners catching first downs. So
yeah.
that was fun. It was good to see him, getting an opportunity in the league and he's still around in
Yes.
that sense.
Yeah,
Um, he's obviously in a successful offense. I think
yeah,
I think with Chris Conley being out there, maybe he, all these other coaches and stuff are watching, buys him another contract with that team or gets him another opportunity, a foot in the door with another team. And you'll love to see that for guys that, we're here in Kansas City and playing well. But another player that played really well was Jawan Jennings for the 49ers. He
yep,
threw that pass to Christian McCaffrey through that touchdown, but he had some other really key plays, key moments on that offense when Debo Samuel, when Brandon Ayuk were falling short, when George Kittle was falling short, and really picked up the offense for them and shouldered a lot of that responsibility. So shout out to Jawan Jennings, number 15 on that team, because he made us sweat a little bit too. But
yep,
yeah, Chris
yep.
Conley, loved seeing him in action for sure. One
Yeah,
of
that
my
was cool.
one of my favorite moments was the game was actually when Jake Moody kicks the 55-yard field goal to set the NFL record in a Super Bowl. In the
Yep.
very next possession, Butker's like, Hold my beer.
Yeah,
Line
right.
me up at 57. I'm booting this shit right
Yeah,
through." And
yeah,
in the snap, I don't know if you remember seeing this, the snap to Townsend was way off.
yeah, dude,
Townsend
what a play.
Townsend snags that thing back here, gets the
Yeah.
ball down, and Butker's foot doesn't hit that ball right. But that MF was on a rope straight
Dude.
through the
Yeah, yeah.
uprights
Yeah, dude,
from
I don't
57
even
yards.
I don't think those high speed cameras could even catch how fast Townsend's freaking hands are moving when he launched that ball back down to the ground, dude. It was like this far away, like a foot away from ball landing on the ground, contact
Right.
being made from Booker's foot, dude. It was freaking close. That was one of the moments I was like, wow, this is incredible to watch. I mean, I mean, we're just watching professionals out here, man. Tommy Townsend,
Just a bunch of
just
professionals. These guys get paid for this.
I mean, that was an incredible play. I love unique plays like that. That was fun to
Yeah.
watch, man.
Plus,
Yeah,
Butker put
and
his stamp on the Super Bowl, like for the
yeah,
rest of history. He's gonna be that guy that had the longest field goal, and really another guy that didn't get his due this year. No All Pro, no Pro Bowl. Just casually kicked 94% of his field goals, and no big deal.
yeah,
Didn't miss a
yeah,
kick
yeah,
in the postseason. Just normal
100% on
stuff
extra
that
points.
kickers do, I guess.
Yeah, no big deal. He's just the best in the league this year. So, well, we just didn't get the accolades for it. So, I missed the halftime show. Like I said, I was putting takedown. So, tell what was that? I didn't even go back to watch it. Honestly, I'm not huge on halftime
For
shows,
sure.
but I caught like the last, maybe minute and a half, and right as soon as Ludacris came on, I was like, hell yeah, Ludacris, let's go, baby. Let's go.
It
So
was
I
it
didn't.
was sick. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
that's like music I grew up listening to. You
Oh
grew up
yeah.
listening to, right? Yeah, we that was at every middle school dance. Yes,
Yeah.
playing. And
Yeah.
Usher was definitely whether it gosh, he starts the show out and next thing you know, Alicia Keys is on stage. They're singing My Boo, which is like if you had a girlfriend from 2003 to 2006, you probably played that song for her. Like, and then what's his name? Jermaine Dupri comes out, does a song with him. Her comes out, she's playing the guitar, just shredding. And then we get Lil Jon Ludacris to do yeah, and I loved it from a nostalgia standpoint. I was all in on Usher's performance. He's still doing his dances the same way, looking like he's gliding across the stage and everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I loved it. I think everybody at the party I was at, they were singing every word to every song. You know,
Yeah.
it was a lot of fun. My
Yeah,
boo. Oh yeah.
I mean that's the goal for the halftime show, right? So it's always
Yeah.
interesting to see what audience are they shooting for, right? And they tapped into our era there for sure.
Oh yeah.
Thank God it wasn't like U2 or somebody again. I can't get on
It's a
board with that
beautiful day.
again. Yeah, I
It
can't
was a
get on
beautiful
board
day.
with that.
It was though.
uh,
Yeah. No, that definitely breathed some life back into me. Obviously, we were down at that point in the game, and
yeah, yeah,
it was nice to see that happen. Um, the Niners, man, they were. I felt like they knew what was going to happen in the
yeah,
back end of that game. You could get a sense for the body language in our final possession. It's Mahomes, minute 50 on the clock, 2 timeouts, game on the line, drive it, get a field goal, you go to OT, get a touchdown, you likely win the game. And you could see on their faces, like even when Jake Moody kicked that field goal, you could feel their
yeah.
energy deflate because they had to settle for it.
Well, for me, when he kicked that field goal, I'm assuming you're talking about the field goal overtime, the first possession.
I'm talking about the one that they kicked right before we had to march down and get ours to go to overtime.
To go to overtime. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I hear you. So, yeah, no, you're right. Well, I get when you think about, I'm giving the ball back to Patrick Mahomes, even if it's 13 seconds, you're like, holy shit, this guy can still end my night right here. But
Right.
the field goal when we were watching the overtime and we stopped them there and they were debating on, or they were thinking that Shanahan was going to go for it on fourth down there and try to go for the touchdown there. And I did not want him to go for it. I did not I wanted him to kick the ball. I wanted him to kick the field goal because I wanted Patrick Mahomes to have unlimited time to go down and build the beautiful drive that he did, dude. And when he kicked that field goal and made it, like Strato and I were like, yes, this is optimal. This is gonna be the best ever. Like this is exactly what we wanted. We set you up for this. We're gonna feast on your heart now. I was fired up.
Oh
And
yeah.
just laid it out on the platter there for us, man. And yeah, that's how I felt. So I can only imagine how Niners fans feel.
Oh
We
yeah.
used to feel that. You know what I mean? Playing Tom Brady. We felt that 6 years ago in the AFC Championship. So
Mm.
I feel it. I
Whether it was
understand
Tom
how it feels.
Brady or Manning or whoever, man.
Yeah, even Big Ben. I mean, Big Ben used to shred the Chiefs back in the day, bro. We just could not beat Big Ben.
Yeah.
But
When we hung 40 on him, Mahomes' first season as a starter, I was like, ugh! It's almost like a relief. You got
yeah,
some of that
yeah,
years of abuse out.
yeah. Well, we're still working through that a little bit.
Yeah,
Still
we're still
working through
working.
that a little
I'm talking to
bit.
somebody about it. I'm talking to somebody about
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
But no, I mean you could clearly see it. Debo Samuel had at least that's the still frame that I'm thinking of whenever I close my eyes and think of that moment. It's him sitting down like this,
yeah, yeah. I know
you
exactly what you're
know?
talking about. They panned to him like 4 times, and I was like, "Damn, this man is sad. What the hell's
Yeah.
going on?"
Who feed him
Yeah,
his cornflakes, man?
yeah, yeah.
Patrick
No,
Mahomes.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I remember that vividly. I was like, "Damn!" And then even when he hit it, he was just still sitting in the same spot. And I was like, "Damn, what in the hell is up with this cat?" And I was
They
like, "Maybe
are,
he's just
and
locked in." You know,
that means so much whenever they're
it
still,
does.
whenever the opponent is still feeling that way, despite having a lead, despite having an opportunity still to seal the game.
Yeah,
There was nothing written in stone that says the Chiefs are going to go down the field, kick a field goal, and go to overtime. But everyone felt that way on the Niners
yeah, yeah,
sideline
yeah.
when they settled for the field goal in overtime. It was the same thing. There's no guarantee that we're going to get down the field and score a touchdown and in this thing, right? We might kick a field goal and give them another opportunity.
Well, I
So,
think, to elaborate on that, I think this is a little bit bigger than just this moment. Like you look at you look at the matchup against. I look at the last 2 weeks. There was an overwhelming feeling that why are the Niners favored in this game? And then there was a
yeah,
feeling of can the Niners get over the hump of the Chiefs? Can Shanahan get over the hump of Andy Reid?
0 and
But
3.
if you look back to Baltimore, it's the same thing. Can Lamar beat Patrick? Look back at Buffalo. Can Josh Allen do it against Patrick Mahomes? Can the Bills finally beat the Chiefs in the postseason? All of these teams are trying to just get rid of this one thing that's stopping them from being successful, right? And they
God,
have
that's
to
so
think about
true.
that the whole time that they're playing is that if I can't lose this game, but the energy
Yeah.
goes the wrong way. They don't use it as fuel; they use it to drag them down, which is, hey, I don't know how you do that. I don't know if there's some psychology book you got to read. I don't know if those kind of books or what's going on, but he's gay. I mean, he's rent free, baby.
Yeah, he
And
is. He
he's
is.
opened up the doors. He's opened up the doors for everybody else to come on in.
He's letting the whole team in. Damn.
Yeah, in Chiefs Kingdom.
Yeah, that's right. Honestly, so electric for I'm so happy for McCole Hardman. He gets bad rap all the time, man. I feel like he's constantly having to defend himself. Leaves Kansas City, gets a fresh start, might have an opportunity in New York. Everything falls to shit in the first 3 snaps of that opportunity. And he gets a ticket back to Kansas City for a 5th rounder, and all of a sudden that trade's worth it. He caught a
Yeah.
bomb
Oh
of
yeah.
pass to get us in scoring position.
I was fired up, dude.
So sick. Amazing he came down with that. And
Yeah.
then wins the game. Do you
Yep.
think I mean Mahomes came out and said he had to go and tell him, "Hey, we just won Super Bowl 58, guy. Wake up, 12."
Yeah.
And it finally snaps in for him, but he made the play of the game, really. I mean,
Yeah.
that was the nail in the coffin for the Niners, and he now has 3 rings on his fingers.
He sure does. Yeah, I hope he. I saw something pretty funny today on Twitter. Is that when McCole Hardman goes to Tyreek's uh, Hall of Fame, or when he goes to do Tyreek's Hall of Fame speech, he's gonna show Tyreek all 3 of his rings, at least at least 3. Right? If he
Well,
hangs on for another couple seasons, he might have a couple more.
well, I think a lot of that was going around because then Tyreek tweeted and he goes, "Why am I out here catching strays?"
Yeah, right.
Tyreek just
Yeah,
getting
he
dogged
caught
left
one
and
from
right.
me today. He caught one for me today. I couldn't hold back any longer, and I had the ammo. We just won the Super Bowl. I was hot and heavy, and he said something about how he said, Patrick and Andy are the greatest. I've been saying it all season. I was like, nope, can't let that pass. This is the gate that does not pass here, my friend. So he's been talking that shit all year. I wasn't gonna let that one pass, but Twitter fingers.
Yep,
But
Twitter fingers.
I think Dan to wrap this show up. This has been a really fun one, actually. Doing shows after Super Bowl wins is
I can get
pretty
used to
unique
it.
and pretty fun. Yeah, all
Get
right.
used to it.
The best part is we get to celebrate until September next year. So I'm gonna treat it just like that, baby.
Oh yeah.
But
Honestly, this has been an ongoing celebration since
yeah,
last
right, yeah,
February, right?
yeah.
So we just get to
Well,
wear the
good
crown a
point.
little bit longer.
Good point. Good point. Good point.
It's
So
beautiful.
there's no better way to send this show off, Dan, other than talking about Patrick Mahomes, the great. What he did yesterday. Obviously, offense struggled first half. What we saw in the last two quarters from Patrick Mahomes, being overtime and the fourth quarter, was pure greatness. There's been conversations today and last night. Is he the greatest athlete ever? Is he the greatest quarterback? Is he the best NFL player we've ever seen? I'm not going to dive into that, but I will say what we've seen from Patrick is nothing less than freaking greatness. The runs, the fourth down run to go get the first down, the the freaking play call. Whoever called that play, I looked at Strato and I was just shook. You got to run a run pass run option where he can hand it off to Pacheco. He can throw it to Travis Kelce, Rasheed Rice, who are running out in the flat over there, or he can just tuck it and run himself. And I was like, this man's going to run the ball. And I mean, good play. He got like 8, 9, 10 yards on
Great.
4th and 2 there, or 4th and 1. I don't remember what it was, but
4th and
freaking
1.
lights out, man. The last drive of the game and overtime to seal the deal. He threw 100% completion, went 75 yards, 13 plays, and 7 minutes of change off the clock there. It's just incredible to watch, and what we've seen him do in possessions or games where the game is on the line. It's the Super Bowl, it's the AFC Championship, it's the game against Buffalo, the 13 seconds. It's those moments where you cannot argue how great Patrick Mahomes is, and
Yep.
and yesterday was just another show of that, of how great he is. Down 10 at one point, comes back, wins the game in overtime by going down 75 yards, throwing 100% completion, and throwing the touchdown to win the freaking Super Bowl. His third Super Bowl, fourth in Chiefs history there. So just man, it's just incredible. He led the team in freaking rushing too in the Super Bowl. He
It's
passed
wild.
Lamar Jackson in postseason rushing yards.
Just crazy. Crazy what he's been able to
Yeah.
do in 6 years as a starter. Currently sits, 4 AFC championships, 3 Super Bowl rings, 3 Super Bowl MVPs, 2 MVP awards, 2 first team All Pro nods, Offensive Player of the Year award. Everyone wants to talk about GOAT, and I think that conversation's better left in the next 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Whenever we
agree.
get the full body of work of Patrick Mahomes and we can say, okay, this is what he did in his time in the NFL.
Agreed.
But is it fair to say he's pacing to be the greatest player of all time? 100,000% it is.
Yep.
He's
Yep.
pacing with the greatest quarterback of all time right now in Super Bowl titles. He's pacing him in appearances, AFC championships, playoff wins. He has 15. He surpassed Peyton Manning already in
Yeah.
his career, and he's just started 6 seasons.
Yeah.
Everything that you can look at for his body of work is already a Hall of Fame player, and he's played for
Oh
just
yeah.
6 full seasons.
Yep.
So, all of that is said to say this. Anyone that's wearing a Chiefs jersey on Sundays, anyone that's here in Kansas City rooting on the team, do not take it for granted. Soak it all up. Be in this moment any chance that you can with people that you care about. I think football is a great tool for rallying together and building up people and building friendships and creating memories. So jump on all of that stuff anytime you can, because when you're winning, it's a lot better than the other side of it. And we've seen the other side
Yep.
of it and what that can look like and how that can feel. Um,
Yep.
so I love everything that's happening right now. I love that it's been giving us this opportunity to do this show together. And this season was a hell of a season. Shout out to our producer, Bryce Gelman. He's a freaking man. He's kind of been running this thing from behind the scenes all season long. He definitely
Absolutely.
deserves some credit for what we've done this year in our first
Oh yeah.
full season with Odyssey Sports. So appreciate them for being great partners up to this point too. But man, just incredible stuff that we've been able to see this year. What a beautiful season. Best way to end it is watching Mahomes hoist that Lombardi, and I'm excited to start talking off season. We'll probably get another episode out later this week, kind of recap the season as a whole, get some more reactions from some Chiefs fans, and go from there into the off
Yeah.
season and see what that carries. But man, Super Bowl 58, the 2023-24 seasons in the books, and the Chiefs are on top
Yes.
with what your power
Yeah.
rankings look like now.
Yeah. I 2 points here before I let you sign us off, Dan. One, the most important one here is that the word dynasty can now be used in every Chiefs fan's vocabulary. And if somebody questions you, tell them to kick rocks politely, and then continue to use at your pleasure.
Respectfully.
Number two is a quick shout out for all the sponsors, all of our sponsors that we had this year. Specifically e-coffee, with the coffee they're doing. They got great coffee over there. Go be sure to check them out. Katie Lawrence, my beautiful wife at Better Homes and Garden. She's a real estate agent there. And then the Atlas Saloon. So Keith and Jimmy down at the Atlas Saloon have been huge supporters of the show this year. And this would not have, things would not be where they're at right now without the support of all of our guests and those folks that I just mentioned. So it's gonna be a great off season here, Dan, and
Yes,
I'm ready to
sir.
get it fired up, bud.
Let's do it,
Send us off.
baby. We're Super Bowl champs. Let's catch them again later this week, baby. Go Chiefs.
Let's go Chiefs. Dynasty.